Hello my lovelies, in today's video we're doing alternatives to popular fragrances. So I've picked some of my favorite perfumes that I think they are very popular, and I've also picked some better alternatives or slightly different alternatives that will just scratch the itch but will make for maybe a bit more interesting fragrance offering. I always love to find fragrances that I adore and then trying to see if I can find something a bit better. So for the first one, I've picked Soleil Blanc from Tom Ford. I've loved this fragrance forever. I bet you all know about it if you're into perfumes. If you don't, this is like a suntan lotiony, coconutty, creamy scent. Very lovely, very luxurious. It reminds me of like super luxurious French Riviera hotels. But the downside of this is that it doesn't simply last. It literally just pains me. So I've always been on the lookout for this sort of scent, but longer lasting, and I found two fragrances that I've got in my collection that scratch the itch that this fragrance gives me, and I sometimes layer them, but if I was to just buy one, I would probably opt for the other ones. Oh, I don't know, it's so hard, but let me show you which ones I'm talking about. And by the way, this is a fragrance and a luxury channel, so if you love this sort of content, subscribe to this channel. So the first fragrance that I would say is an alternative for this one is I never can say Cocoa Bay from Jacques Fath Essentials. This massive bottle, like look how much I've used up of it. I love it so much. This is Soleil Blanc, but a bit spicier, a bit fresher as well. It's got like this oceanic scent to it as well. It's got an amazing sprayer, a bit more citrusy as well than a Soleil Blanc. Lasts longer, projects more. I love the magnetic cap, the whole bottle like this. I don't have to worry about like spraying myself. I can just douse myself with this, and it's not that expensive either compared to the Tom Ford prices, because Tom Ford prices have gone like way up. So Cocoa Bay is an amazing alternative. It's a very similar scent profile, but I would say this is better quality wise. Like if you can really smell synthetic notes and stuff like that, then you'll be able to tell that it's just better quality. And another scent that I'm actually wearing today because I love this scent in the summer is Bossa from Granado, Brazilian perfume house. You can get it at Liberty's here in the UK, I think. I'll link all of the perfumes below, but it's not one that is like you can get everywhere, but if you can get your hands on it, try it out. It's a great house. This scent also really reminds me of Le Blanc Soleil from Tom Ford, but this again lasts longer. It's a bit stronger. They've got a whole line of like home products, so you can make your whole home smell like this as well. Really nice scent, and a nice alternative to this, I would say, because what really pains me is the longevity, and what these two have is the longevity and is a bit more of a natural smell, and they've got tiny differences, but they are essentially very, very same scent than Tom Ford Le Blanc. So if you're thinking of maybe purchasing this one, you might opt for this one. They are bigger sizes and they just last longer. Next up, we've got the OG Baccarat Rouge. I've got the Extrait in here. So I think there's like tons and tons of alternatives and fragrances that smell similar or just the same as Baccarat Rouge. There's tons. I think it's always worth having the original scent that started it all, because it's amazing. But I have to say that I also love a couple alternatives, a couple fragrances that give me either like a difference, so I get the similar scent profile but a bit different, or a very similar vibe. First up, we've got from Maison Crivelli Hibiscus Mahajad. This is in a similar vein. It's done by the no, it's not done by the same perfumer. This is actually kind of more Delina-esque, but I would say it is also Baccarat Rouge in that same bracket because it's so sweet, and it's got a lightness to it, it's got intensity to it, it's got incredible spiciness to it. If you think like a marriage of Delina and Baccarat Rouge, this would probably be somewhere there with a bit of difference, but it's an amazing fragrance. As I've said, it's done by the same perfumer as Delina. So it's got a similar like smoky, a bit coffee, a rose, a vibe, a bit spicy, really intense, really like lasts forever, the same as Baccarat. So that is why I chose it here, because it does give you that sweet tooth sort of fragrance, intensity, longevity. It's an amazing one, and many people who love one love the other as well, I found. And another scent from MFK that I love, and that is a bit more of an alternative to Baccarat Rouge, is Gentle Fluidity Gold Cup. If you love one, you'll love the other. They have got this light, sweet, airy smell to them, but they are two completely different fragrances, although they share the same sort of a profile. This, to me, like I always say, it smells like cherries. It doesn't have it in the notes, but man, I just smell cherries in here. Just like sugary cherries, and then this lovely sweetness that is super airy. Even this sweetness is a bit leathery. It's just lovely. Last projects again, so you get the same kind of intensity. It's a tiny bit less sweet than Baccarat, but it's still very good, and it's not as popular, although I think it's getting a bit more popular. And another fragrance that I would say if you love these you would love as well is Widian's Liva. That fragrance also like reminds me of Baccarat, but it's not the same. It just has that vibe, but it's a bit more oriental, it's a bit more spicy, and it's got a bit more oomph, a bit more character to it. It's like a bit naughty, I would say, compared to Baccarat. It's a lovely alternative, and it's amazing, addictive smell. Next up, we've got a very popular Gipsy Water from Byredo. I myself love the scent, but it doesn't last, and that is my issue with it. I love it, but I think like I don't really wear it out. I just wear it at home at the moment, just because it's so airy and light. I find that that is the best way to wear it. But if you love that sort of scent profile, but maybe you've worn it for years, or you're just over it, maybe, whatever the reason, then I picked some scents that are nice alternatives. They're very airy, very clean, almost barely there scents. One of them is L'Eau Papier from Diptyque. It's a nice, just very clean, almost like a blank page sort of a scent. Bit of like rice in here, like a very milky, nice rice. It's such an unusual scent. It's a bit nutty, it's a bit milky, and it's super clean smelling, but very unusually so. I think you would really love it if you like Gipsy Water, because Gipsy Water, it's like, again, clean, but not in the typical way that you would like. It's not laundry clean, you know what I mean? It's a bit more ambitious, a bit more creative. This is very similar vibes. They have similar lasting power, I would say. So this one is a nice alternative, something a bit different, a newer release. And another scent that is clean and airy like this is Etat Libre d'Orange. You or Someone Like You. This scent I absolutely love. Lasting power is much better on this one, and it's a spare minty, fresh, cooling cologne. It's cool as a cucumber. It's a very cool, simple in the similar way to Gipsy Water, not overwhelming at all, just light, clean. And this one lasts, smells amazing for some reason. And if you love that mintiness, then for the summer, there's nothing quite like it. And another alternative I would say is Eccentric Molecule O2. This scent also has that woodiness, that like you're walking through a forest and you just smell pine needles and water. This is the scent that smells divine. It's like sandalwood, but like creamy white sandalwood with some spices to it. It projects really nicely as well and lasts much longer than Gipsy Water. So I'd say go for this. And I love this one in particular. Not this case is treacherous, I'm telling you, the edges are so sharp. But I love this version of Eccentric O2 because the other ones can smell sometimes not so great on all people. This one is like fail safe sort of a fragrance. Next one is Vanilla Vibes from Juliette Has. This fragrance is so fun, it's very positive, it's a popular one I think for Juliette Has, and it's vanilla, but a salty vanilla, and it's a super nice fragrance, but many people say that it doesn't last necessarily the longest. To me, I often think about getting it, but then I don't, because I'm like, oh, but I've got some alternatives. So those are the alternatives that I have, and I'm also going to say which alternative also I'm thinking of buying, and I'm really like, I've been thinking about it for years now as well. The first one is Couleur Vanille from L'Artisan Parfumeur. This fragrance, a lot of vibes for similar to Juliette Has, vanilla vibes. It's salty and it's vanilla, but this one lasts and lasts. It's a very strong perfume, and I love the indulgence of the vanilla in here. It's very like Kinder Egg sort of a vanilla. So fun, so happy, and the saltiness in here is very strong as well. But I find that this smells very refined, and although it's playful, it's not like kid-like, Juliette Has, it's a bit like kid vibes, you know, it's very salty. This one is a bit more like a grown-up, lovely perfume, so good, from L'Artisan Parfumeur. And another fragrance, a bit less salty I would say, but still a lovely vanilla, is Fire at Will from JEWELLERY. This fragrance, oh, I love it, so delicious. It gives me the indulgence of the vanilla, the simple vanilla note, but yet here it's a bit more syrupy, a bit less salty, like literal salty, like Vanilla Vibes or Couleur Vanille, but it's a very lovely flower infused vanilla, and it's such a guilty pleasure. It's so natural, so strong. So Fire at Will, love it. And another alternative that I strongly like, I'm just obsessed with it, I've been for years, I keep wanting to get it but I haven't yet, is the Armani Privé Blue Turquoise, whatever, the turquoise bottle in the Armani Privé line. That one is again a salty vanilla, and some people say, oh, it's not worth the money because it's such a simple scent on the surface of it, but yet there is something so expensive smelling in that scent. There's sometimes perfumes that are done like the wrong way, but this is definitely done the right way. It smells super expensive, luxurious, and it just has got my heart. It's really simply beautiful. So I'd say these three alternatives are just better than Juliette Has Vanilla Vibes. Another super popular scent that I know that many of you love is Coromandel from Chanel, and I wanted to give you some alternatives to this scent. Or maybe if you love this scent so much and you want something a bit similar, I would say the first one may be a bit basic, but I will still say it, is Lion. So Lion from Chanel, the same line. I would say they are very similar in the scent profile, but I would say Lion is much more wearable, much more everyday, I would say. So when I smelt it, I felt like, oh, I'm not going to get it because I already have Coromandel, and I think they just are two similar vibes, and I would probably reach for them for similar occasions. But I would say if I was going to buy something now, like as somebody else, then I would probably get Lion, because it's just easier to wear. It's a tiny bit less, I would say, intense compared to Coromandel, although I love intensity of this. But just for everybody, for the public, I think Lion is just a nice version that many people can see themselves wearing much more than Coromandel. So I would say, if you're thinking of buying this, check out Lion as well. Another scent that I would say it might be an alternative is something like Patchouli Figue from Etat Libre from Panouge. This scent is patchouli again, but a fig patchouli. It's very unusual combination. It smells niche to the nth degree. It's so fun. It's so different. so jammy and sweet, and just I can just vibe with this scent all day long. The patchouli is not as earthy and kind of slightly moldy like Coromandel has this patchouli that is so strong, at least on my skin, it's like goes to the nth degree. This one is not as strong, it's not as earthy of a patchouli, but it just pairs so nicely with this fig. It's such an unusual scent. I highly encourage you to try it because it's so fun. A really good alternative if you love patchouli, and if you love that amount of patchouli in a fragrance, then you must try this. I think it's really easy to make a patchouli fragrance that is kind of like dirty smelling, but Chanel does it in such an elegant way. So I think it's hard to find a classy, very timeless alternative like that, but these definitely do their job. Let me know what alternatives you have found for some of your favorite perfumes. What do you love about them? I love to hear in the comments down below. Maybe you found a better alternative than I have, so let me know. I'll link all of the fragrances and any codes, discount codes I have for them down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.